Okay. Wow. What the frick? Ugh. Oh, Christ. This is a lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff around here. And by stuff, I mean anything from empty packaging and books I haven't opened in a decade to prescription ointments. Oh, so I've decided to do some cleaning up around here. A lot of this stuff is lost to time and will stay lost to time when I'm done here, much like lost media are examples of any kind of information or entertainment, whether it be from the realm of video games, TV, film, literature, and so on, that was never officially released or once had an official release but is no longer accessible. Given that this is a hell of a blanket term, this could be anything from the Bob and Larry segments at the 28th Dove Awards to stuff I can't really get into here. These are the juicy bits of entertainment. The grease from the bacon that you wipe off as the strips come off the pan. Is most of it extraneous? Yeah. Will the world be any different of a place had it been released or is still accessible? Probably not. But damn it, I want to know more about Clerks 3. The first pieces of lost media to introduce me to the term were mostly from video games. Being the giant nerd I always have been, I was an early adopter of YouTube. And through YouTube, I discovered many videos that surrounded subject matter of my interest, slowly but surely dragging me in. With this interest towards video games, I eventually stumbled upon the channel Did You Know Gaming. Their style of video entails trivia, going over franchises, games, consoles, so on and so forth. And most of the time in their videos, they go over at least one or two pieces of lost media, whether it be a prototype someone managed to even boot, or as questionable as a very loaded claim someone made on a forum post. Hearing about these bits and pieces of video game history blew my prepubescent mind. Up until that point, I could have never imagined making something that didn't come to fruition exactly as originally intended. So, I did some snooping, and over the years I've amassed a few favorites of my own, but one that really comes to mind is this is something I hold pretty near and dear to my heart, mainly because I witnessed its life and death firsthand. So for context, I was a huge Megaman fan growing up. It was one of the first video game series I discovered during my aforementioned spelunking on YouTube. It was one of the first retro video games I ever played, and I still have fond memories associated with it to this day. For even more context, Mega Man Legends is a series taking place in a different universe but with the same characters as the original series, and is maybe connected to another spin-off franchise? Regardless, I loved the style and world of Legends from what I saw in gameplay videos, and I desperately wanted to play it. But alas, at that time I was a little boy with no PS1, no money, and no knowledge of emulation, which I would only do after legally buying a copy of the game and ripping it. However, when it was announced in 2010 that after a decade's absence, a new installment was in the works for a console that I had, the 3DS, and there was a free demo ready to be launched on its online shop, you could say I was pretty excited. So I waited in anticipation, all the while witnessing the contests Capcom held, which involved determining what design the characters would be, or seeing what NPCs should say dialogue-wise. It was really exciting for 9, 10-year-old me to witness the game's development before my very eyes. However, admittedly, the development went on long enough for me to forget about it. Long enough that I didn't even hear about the game's official cancellation until about a year or so after the announcement was posted. I was crushed. To just dangle this juicy piece of goodness in front of eager fans' faces, only to throw it away because it didn't meet required criteria. That was a betrayal worse than a UN state violating the Geneva Convention. Fans were outraged and overall disappointed. Now, in retrospect, about a decade later, I do feel fortunate that it played out this way. This is a not too common example of lost media that is as public as it gets, with its conception happening before our very eyes, only to be canceled with an explanation. The only reason it became lost is because we, the people, did not get an official release of the game to play. With all that said, how does lost media make its presence known? Now, it may seem like even knowing or believing a canceled movie or TV episode that aired once and then never again 20+ years ago is contradictory to the term lost media. It's almost like these things should be called known but hasn't been seen in a while or never released media. But the reality is the term lost in this case is used how lost is in Lost and Found. Take, for example, this shirt. This is your burden now, I'm putting this on you. Now, let's say you lose this shirt at school one day. A custodian or whoever finds it and puts it in Lost and Found. From here, this can play out a number of ways. You could remember that you in fact left this shirt at school and come back first thing next morning to find it in Lost and Found. You could forget about it and go on with the rest of your life as is. You could wait until the last days of school where they lay out all the lost and found things for whoever to take, and in an effort to nab up some careless soul's items, you find this and find out that you are the careless soul. Just to name a few, that is what we mean by lost in lost media. There are pieces of media, whether it be something that was once fully idealized and had an official release, or something that was in its very early stages of development before achieving its lost status. Sometimes it'll be a month or two before all of it is found, and sometimes it'll even be years before even a smidgen of it is discovered. What matters is they are the shirt, discarded into the lost and found bin that is the abyss of data in this world, never to be seen again. That is, until somebody finds it. So, with everything said, why do I like lost media? Yeah. Give me one sec. Come on, yep. Through the shirt. How'd you go? All right. Why do I like it? Why do I like it? It's cool. It's awesome. It's mysterious. Come on. But I gotta sound smart. It's gotta be cool. Gotta put it in a cool way of saying it. You're blowing it, man. You realize that? You're blowing it. How are they gonna think you now? Fuck. Truth be told, there's no clear thesis statement I've ever used or created myself to summarize why I like lost media so much. But I can try. Ever since I was a little kid, I always loved taking things apart just to see what was inside them. It started with things like Legos, discarded electronics, basically anything my hands had the dexterity to disassemble. But as I got older and I saw what was waiting for me on the internet, my curiosity transcended things that I could disassemble with a screwdriver. Going back to my first experience with YouTube, after watching a few videos on canceled games and creepypasta levels of fake TV episodes, I felt enlightened. I'm not sure if that word encapsulates exactly how I feel about all this, but something about learning about these things that are lost in an infinite sea of data just created this allure that interested me intensely. Doesn't matter what it is. If it falls into the category of lost media, I'm intrigued by it. More often than not, there are things that wouldn't change the world to any extent if they were still around, publicly available, fully released, whatnot. But it's nice to know about them anyway. Lost media is like forbidden knowledge. Except when you pick these apples from the tree of life, God won't smite you. And damn it, it's apple picking season. Depending on when you're watching this.